Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Edessa Dark Crusade Season 2. This evening, we set our scene within the haven of newly arrived Bruja to the domain, Monica. Monica Cortez. And she's recently met with the sheriff to introduce herself to the domain, which is a good start. Helps that he's a fellow clanmate. He's also a major authority figure, so he's been able to communicate to other leaders and authorities within the domain as to her presence. And it doesn't take too long within the day, within the night. She has a letter delivered to her haven, interestingly, via courier. Do you tip for courier?
Yeah, definitely gonna tip the courier.
You made a friend. The courier's very grateful towards you, but there's not much for him to say as he has other work to get to, and yeah, we'll see you again sometime as he drifts away to his next odd job of the evening. Within the letter, however, you'll find it is rather fine. It is a rather fine kind of rich textured envelope with a wax seal on it. Want to make me a intelligence K-Night law check for the seal?
Sure. It's gonna be my first roll on this character ever.
Nice.
Which means it's probably gonna fail or botch.
Oh yeah, I will put set us up a dice roller.
Okay. Is it gonna be dice roller 1, 2, or 3?
Dice roller 1.
You got it.
Alright.
Okay, one success.
You're from Spain. You've seen this seal before. It is the Black Crown, the seal for the La Sombra clan.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Best be on her best behavior here. Though that doesn't really guarantee anything when it comes to La Sombra.
Actually, what am I with such an awareness check as well?
Alrighty, alright.
Presumably open the envelope.
Yeah. Okay, that's how much awareness I have. Well, there goes another. Just one success.
Just the one success. When you touch the seal, the kind of wax seal of the envelope, there is the faintest smell of vitae upon it.
Okay. Interesting.
You are able to open it without issue, however.
Alright. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, there's no ominous trick or trap.
Yeah, she takes To be fair, just as kind of like as a side note, she takes very, very special care when she opens up this letter. She's lived with Potens for a while, but world of cardboard, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You open up the envelope, and the message contained within is fairly short but polite. Very, very well and gracefully written. What is your academic score again?
I have academics too.
Okay, and do you have literacy?
I was told that I did not need literacy in order to
Yeah,
read
you
it.
can. Yeah, because you have academics too. It just helps. Um,
Okay. If I
okay,
need to
so
buy that way, I'll go ahead and do so. But
no, you can read. You can read and write, and you can read fairly well. So the message states. To the good, Madam Cortez. The Seneschal of Edessa would like to meet you so you can complete your introductions forthwith. It will give you a specific time at this date as well. We hope that formalities shall be pleasant and brief.
okay. I keep wanting to say that Monica will text back. That's not possible. But if there's like a time or date or specific, anything like that, she'll
The
note
date
that.
is today. However, you have a few hours.
Cool. Gives Monica some time to look a bit presentable.
Your resources. Oh, does that
Two.
dress? You got an okay dress.
But
You actually have a dress, so to be fair,
yeah, like it's not terrible. Not
better
terrible.
than most.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get yourself a nice looking dress. It's not exactly something of the noble class, but it's the best you have. It'll do. You're not exactly going to a ball or anything. You're just going you're just going to introduce yourself to pay the hospitality to the seneschal, right? Nothing could go wrong here.
Many things can go wrong here. Osiris told her that many things can go wrong during things like this. Before he died,
A wise man, if he did not die.
oh, sorry.
A wise man, if he were to not to have died.
Yeah. So yeah. Start making our way over.
Yeah. You do any hunting or anything before you enter the merchants district? As that is where you're told to go.
Oh, where at?
Merchants district, known to be made known pretty quickly to use La Sombra domain just through casual gossip.
Alrighty. If there is a quote unquote open, domain like the rack or, even Bruja domain, she'd definitely feed there, obviously.
Yeah, you can just make your preferred kind of method of hunting.
Okay. A bit of quick charming at a party, would that be charisma subterfuge?
Yeah, it depends if you're trying to carouse people or seduce people.
Seduce.
Seduce? Yeah, charisma. That would be appearance subterfuge.
Appearance subterfuge? Okay. And to make sure that this goes well, I'm going to spend a blood point to use presence for the action. So that brings down my
that's fine.
2, and I cannot botch, right?
Yeah, it brings it down by 2, and you cannot botch the roll. Presence
Awesome.
is really good for hunting.
Presence is fucking silly.
As it should be. Okay, 4 successes. So you gain. So you spend the blood point for presence. So you basically gain. You gain 3 blood points in
Yep.
net.
Yep. So, yep. She is at 8 right now, so she's feeling pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You feel.
She's not feeling.
Yeah. You feel. You could be a bit more full, but you're satiated. You're not exactly close to hunger. You feel very comfortable.
Yeah, she's not. She doesn't have any. There's no fear of going into a hunger frenzy.
No, not unless the situation in an emergency were to turn very, very ugly. But yes, you spend the next hour or 2 hunting, and it gives you have plenty of time to increase your reservoirs of blood before moving into the merchants district. The merchants district itself. Let me look up the description for you as we have one. Yeah, so the merchants district is mostly made up of large halls and lodges that traders and merchants can live while in the city, as well as food stalls and drinking dens for them to spend their money at. Some merchants who have decided to call the city home have homes here, making the area the most cosmopolitan area of the city by far. Indian, Persian, and steppe traders rub shoulders with enterprising Europeans from markets of Champagne to the Italian city-states, all watched over by the city watch who make sure no one harasses the merchants, so that they can better spend the gold they have made at Hayat's Bazaar. And yeah, what you see is this area is, again, very, very cosmopolitan, quite a lot of activity, even at night, more so than in Old Town. And on top of that, there's also, again, a heavy City Watch presence here. Very, very, very heavy. As in, there's one around every corner.
Okay, so not that Monica would try, but we're looking at a feeding diff of like 8.
7 for physical. Social is 4.
Damn.
Yeah, the only areas where it's perhaps more secure is the Noble's Quarter itself.
Okay.
This place, and what's more is that you do every now and then you see someone kind of give you the once over, kind of this short glance from someone, always a different person, down every couple of streets or so. It's infrequent, but it's enough for you to notice that there are eyes upon you in this area. Not just from the watch, who don't seem to pay too much heed, although one of the people who gives you the once over does appear to be one of those among the city watch. And there are these kind of how to say, the area itself also has again large halls, but they're kind of, what they do is that many of them are multi-floored halls, and then they thin out into towers.
Okay.
They have varying levels of quality and sell various different goods, although none are in bad shape. They all look very well maintained. The area is very clean. It's very tidy. You don't see many. You don't see much vermin in the merchants district at all. It's one of the most hygienic places in the city, from what you can gather, because you just don't see any. And the air here is kind of filled with exotic senses, incenses and different perfumes that people are advertising to each other. The air feels clean, but again, it has that kind of sort of perfumey smell in places. Particularly down side streets where the air is a bit more clogged together and people are a bit more clumped up.
All right.
The roads themselves are actually quite wide for the most part to allow caravans, wagons, and other large implements through for the purposes of trading. But you're on your way to one of the towers. It goes up about 7 or 8 floors. As you kind of approach this tower, you realize you look a little bit out of place here in the sense of the wealth disparity. You see people kind of coming and going who are of significantly greater wealth than you. Mechanically, resources 4 and above.
Right.
As a result, there aren't actually that many people here. Although there are people who would appear to be of the merchant class here, just not of nobility. In the sense that they may not come from a noble bloodline, but they have the money to not really care about that. To kind of sidestep a lot of those issues.
Okay.
Most stuff here on sale is for it is out of your price range, and it is largely things like jewelry, very kind of super high-end practical gear, like high-end equestrian gear. High-end kind of ceremonial ornate weaponry. Works of great literature. And some items of that symbolize some sort of religious importance, or that they're kind of religious items that have basically been immaculately crafted so as to be very, very ornate or valuable. It's incredibly gaudy, the entire place. You're kind of stuck at the entrance until you give your name where you're allowed in, as this area is basically off-premise to anyone who doesn't look like they have the money to buy here.
That's fair. Yeah, Monica will definitely give her name.
God nods. Come with me, my lady.
Not paying for me.
Yeah, the guard appears fairly unemotional in the sense that this is almost business as usual for him. And he'll actually take you to the stairwell where he'll meet up with another guard, and they kind of just nod to each other as if this is business as normal for them, and will begin taking up the stairway, which at first is kind of like it goes up, then to the left, up forward, then up left, then up back, then up right, then up forward again. In a sense, that's going in a square. And then as the tower block, as the block thins out, it thins out into kind of a small spiral stairwell, where again you see numerous coats of arms and sort of decorations along the walls. These kind of and they're incredibly well embroidered, embroidered. All of these are made with the intent of making a statement of wealth and majesty and importance.
All right.
And as you head on up, you reach the end of the stairs, and there are numerous like cutoff points, not cutoff points, but kind of like you reach this floor, there is another floor here, you can buy stuff here. As it thins out, it kind of becomes small rooms for kind of closed curtain dealings. But you reach the top, and there's literally some waiting chairs and a table with a chess set. A nice looking chess set. And on the other side, of the room, on the other side of this tower, on the opposite side of a wall, there's a rather curiously placed mirror. It looks out of place because it's fairly small. It doesn't really look like it belongs to, a mirror here doesn't really make sense. It's elevated way above the stairs. It's not really reflecting anything of importance. Surrounding it and surrounding the rest of the walls are the coat of arms that are literally those of Clan La Sombra, signifying it as theirs. And how did Peter? God, how do you even? Are you a ninja?
I will just leave. It's fine.
Well, you have it, folks. Pete is in fact a ninja. Wow, that's amazing.
No, sorry.
He left as soon
what
as you
happened?
entered. He just
My
snuck.
computer.
Oh, sorry.
What happened was my computer got. I don't know what happened. My computer got hot or went in sleep mode or something. So I had to switch to my. I had to switch to my phone.
That's no problem.
I was hearing a lot of that though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just continue for the purposes of scene flow. But basically, you go up the stairs. As it thins out, it becomes less floors for you to buy from, and more rooms for closed curtains deals. As you kind of reach the top floor, the walls kind of become covered in these separate coats of arms, but they're all identical. They're the coats of arms for Clan La Sombra, stating this place as theirs. Effectively a declaration of domain. But what is very out of place is a fairly small mirror that really seems to only be reflecting the door to the main office of this building. Presumably you have a reflection. I know that sounds weird, but you would be surprised how many people take cast no reflection in this game.
Yeah, no, because people try to be like, oh, it's basically a 1-point flaw for nothing. No, it's not, but all right.
I got that mirror there for a reason.
But yes, Monica does in fact have a reflection.
You see your reflection faintly. The mirror there is just very strange because it's fairly small and it's elevated way above the stairs so that it can because it's opposite. Because obviously the stairs spiral up, so it's way above the stairs. It's actually aligned to, or on its side of the wall. It reflects the door very nicely, but again, because the mirror is fairly small, you don't really get that great a look of your own reflection. But the guards come out. And they simply say, His Grace will see you now.
All right then. Thank you.
They will show deference to you and bow curtly and thank you, madam. And yeah, we'll take a step back, take their posts at both ends of the door, and yeah, you'll be allowed entry. The room you are well enter is a circular room with large shelves on either end, but not so much that they rise up to the ceiling. There is a fairly thin strip of wall that you can still see. There is a more traditional coat of arms just above the door of like two swords and a shield on a wooden plaque. just above the door. And there are 2 coats of arms beside the door of Clan La Sombra, and then 2 on the other side. And on the other side is an extremely ornate desk, and behind it a chair that is more akin to a throne. This kind of wooden throne with a very long back to it. Standing behind that chair, looking out this window, which has been patterned as to look like almost like an abstract blossoming flower, which gives a very which basically provides multiple rays of moonlight throughout the room. These kind of small thin rays that illuminate the room. Standing before it and looking outside is a very tall-looking African gentleman in fine white robes and a red sash. He has a sheathed blade, which appears very thin, but also very finely, has a very fine edge to it. As if it's been put to a whetstone very recently. And as he hears you enter, he will turn around and gesture to the seat in front of the desk, which is also a very nice chair, but not quite the throne that is behind the desk.
Of course. What Monica will do is she'll first curtsy very quickly. It's a very quick one too, because to not do that upon walking in could be seen as some sort of slight.
I see you have etiquette.
She does have etiquette. I did give her etiquette for this reason.
Wise choice.
She will, upon doing so, she will then follow his nonverbal command and go ahead and take a seat.
He will. He kind of responds with a very slight bow to your politesse. This is his only good manners, and will take a seat in his throne. The desk itself, it is kind of stacked full of parchment, an ink pot and its quill, but appears fairly well organized, in spite of the sort of the fact that it's basically covered in stuff. And he will simply say, "Good evening, Monica Cortez. I am Seneschal Antoon of Edessa. I hear from many in the city that you have just recently arrived and thought it would be wise for us to engage in the hospitality is sooner rather than later."
Upon understanding that the Seneschal is done speaking, Monica will incline her head and say, "I thank you for taking the time out of your very valuable nights to see me." And she will like say the Arabic variant of "my lord," whatever that would translate to.
I don't actually know, but that's absolutely fine. He actually speaks to you because you, let's see, you would speak with a European accent, wouldn't you? He hasn't heard you speak up until this point, though.
Yeah, she is
still speak to you in Franken then.
Is that French?
French, basically, yeah.
Okay. She'll respond to him in French then, because she doesn't want to just start assuming that homeboy knows languages.
And because you're from Spain, it's barely recognizable. He does speak with a very slight Moorish accent. It's very... You're not sure why it's hard to recognize, because it is actually... It's not thick, but it is there. It's not like he's actively trying to hide it or that it's faint. It's just, it almost seems hard to pinpoint, but the closest you relate it to is actually Moorish.
Okay. Well, Monica is also... She also has a very heavy Moorish accent.
Ah.
She takes more after... She definitely takes more after her Moorish ancestry than her Spanish one.
Excellent. He will have a make a quick check on you. And okay, he has a lot of dice to this.
Oh my god, is he doing the Auspex 4 life?
No, he just has a lot of dice to this roll.
Okay.
So he gets 5 successes because he has a specialty in emotions. Yeah, this is an aura perception, so you don't have to be super specific. He did get 5 successes though. So yeah, what's kind of what are the kind of visual cues that maybe is Monica giving right now? She seemed a little bit nervous when she was speaking.
Okay. There is probably a tad of nervousness, you know. Getting one's hospitality is always like it's always a very iffy first step, because without that you're kind of super fucked. So she's really making sure to...
if you don't succeed here, you're liable to be thrown out of the city.
Yeah, so you know, there's a lot of dotting I's and crossing T's here. Another thing that he gets, it's very undirected, but it's always there, constantly. A small undertone of anger. It is entirely not towards him. It's not towards anything in general. She just seems kind of mad about something.
Brutal.
Yep. It is 5 successes, so there's probably eagerness.
Yeah, I mean, it's empathy, it's not
something.
So you don't have to give
the
full story, because even a 5
That's fair, but
it's only based on what a normal person could see with their own eyes.
Yeah, then the biggest ones would then be, you know, hints of nervousness, but still have some confidence, and just that dull undercurrent of anger.
Yeah, I think maybe the anger is to think he could pick out the 5 successes.
Yeah.
He kind of files this information away for later and doesn't really react at all. He seems fairly there's this look of it's formality, but it is and he's not really smiling, but it's the impressionist aura of contentment. Sort of peace surrounding him. He has a lot of gravitas to him. The throne helps. What brings you to Edessa? Are you simply passing through, or are you looking to make your stay more permanent?
My lord, I am indeed looking for something more permanent, and there is something I seek here.
And what might this be?
My lord, I seek justice for a crime that has gone unpunished in another domain. I have informed the sheriff's office of this, and he is acutely aware.
I see. Is this in official capacity on behalf of this domain, or is this within a personal capacity?
Personal capacity, my lord.
You can roll perception MP on that if you want. I'm going to roll his 11, 12 dice.
Fuck!
Yeah, 12 dice. No specialties though.
Alrighty. Let's see how my 5 dice does with his like 12.
I got
And
6
now I know that.
successes.
Never mind. That's bigger than my that's bigger than my dice pool. It's bigger than my dice pool.
So this is a social character. Social
Yes,
elders. I always enjoy people's reaction to a subterfuge pool. Yeah, he gives literally no reaction to this that you can discern. He just kind of the most reaction he gives is that in his chair, he sets back in it just ever so slightly more. Well, if I'm asked, do you have the identity of this person?
No, I do not, my lord.
How would you then intend discovering this person? Presumably their trail has led you here.
Yes, my lord, and here's where it stops.
He looks directly at you for a moment. I trust that you'll act within our laws here.
I would not dream of doing anything besides such, my lord.
His gaze on you holds for a while as he just continues speaking. Before he was being fairly indirect. You know, he was polite. He did look at you, but it's more a sense of he wasn't focused on you.
Now the focus is happening.
Yeah, now he seems to be focusing a bit more on you.
Okay.
You seem a little stressed. Please relax. There is nothing to be concerned about. This domain is the most secure within the city.
Understood, my lord. And Monica will try to relax a little bit. She takes care to not relax too much to the point where, you know, we're going into informality. Also, she doesn't. Not a character level. She doesn't cut loose too often because that's how frenzies happen.
It's true.
So.
He actually loosens up slightly himself, and you know he rests back into his chair a bit more visibly this time, and his hands kind of temple, his elbows rest against the edge of the desk, and he cracks a slight smile directly at Monica. If I may be so bold as to ask a woman her age.
Well, my lord, I suppose that would depend on which age you're referring to.
The only one that matters.
She'll nod, and she'll say, I am about 5 years, then.
have you been released from? Well, actually, wait. So sorry. Did you say your sire had died, or you're just looking for an injustice to? You're looking for justice to. No, you said you're looking for justice for a crime committed in another domain. I read. And he'll say he will then ask, "Have you been released from your mentor or sire's protection?"
Yes, my lord, I have.
My sincerest apologies for this particular line of questioning. Although 5 years is very young by our society standards, but perhaps it is a sign of your potential.
Well, thank you, my lord.
He kind of looks down at his hands for a moment, which is still templed, but they've kind of moved to a perpendicular angle so that his little fingers are basically just resting against the desk. And he'll look back up to you. You maintain your own self well for someone so young. Were you raised within such an environment during your mortal days, or was it something you've been taught recently?
It is something I have learned throughout my mortal life, my lord. I was the daughter of a knight. Therefore, there were expectations of me.
I see. An often misunderstood profession, if I've ever had one. I see the old empire is hale and healthy.
Yes, my lord, it is doing quite well.
Well,
Even... Oh,
nope, you can go talk.
okay. Now, this is something Tim read a little bit back, so I may be wrong on this, out of character.
That's fine.
But Monica will say, even a large amount of the peasantry is receiving the education that we give them.
He has a surprisingly... He hasn't reacted as too much. His reaction is surprisingly muted, in the sense that he doesn't receive it negatively, but he doesn't seem to react much to it. Pleasant news. Though I suppose such things are beyond our concerns now. What would you do if, once you... Well, sorry, he would ask, what would you return home once your justice has been served? Would you desire to stay?
My lord, the out of character, Edessa does reside within, like, what we all would call the Holy Land, right?
Oh, yeah. It resides within
awesome,
the Holy
awesome.
Lands. It doesn't reside within the princedom of the Holy Lands. It doesn't stretch this far. It almost does.
Okay. So what Monica will say then is, my lord, we were planning to come to the Holy Land. Regardless, there are too many new ideas here. for us to simply ignore it.
Do give my regards to the Prince of Jerusalem if you happen to visit. He is a most amenable gentleman.
I will do so if I come across him, my lord.
There's a look that almost says, I know something you don't to him.
Yeah, so there's
That
probably
is
going to be a
right.
frenzy check if she mentions this homeboy.
But yeah, he'll just kind of continue relaxing to his chair and he'll make small talk that I'm terrible at. Sad days. Have you visited the carnival recently? I've heard they've recently linked up with some travelers from the West. Apparently, one of our own put on quite a horse show the other night.
And it's been a long time since I have seen any kind of carnival, my lord. Perhaps I should go and see it.
They only come once a year and only remain for a short time, often a week, sometimes less. It would be wise if you're looking to unwind. Our kind tend to take to the shows rather over-eagerly, I find. He doesn't seem all that impressed with the notion of Canaanites indulging in horse shows and circus acts.
To be fair, Monica ain't 100% down with Canaanites doing that either. Humans, it's nah. Canaanites, it's like, but why though?
I should inform you before I get. Are you aware of the Treaty of Edessa?
I have, my lord, heard whispers of some sort of treaty.
To put it simply to you, the Lasombra Cappadocians and the Bruges are responsible for ensuring that the other clans do not tear each other's throats out and get others caught up in the crossfire. He says this not knowing your clan.
He says this not knowing what?
I don't think you mentioned that you're a Rouge.
He didn't directly ask her clan, but
No.
I mean, it's possible for him to, she's angry all the fucking time.
Yeah, but he can't verify that with aura perception.
That's fair. But she'll nod and she'll say, well then, my lord, it seems that... Well, are there any tasks that we must handle in regards to that immediately?
Not immediately, no. Why? You wouldn't happen to be one of the Bruges, would you? You are not pale as a Cappadocian, and you have a reflection.
She will respond with, I'm very sorry for neglecting to mention, my lord. It seems that I forget to tell others on occasion. Yes, I am Clan Bruja.
I am sure. Poking the bear.
Wait, I heard, what was that?
He just says, "I am sure," in a sort of in a pretty dry fashion, effectively poking you a little bit, like poking the bear, seeing how you react.
That's fair. She does have that self-control for her, so it is somewhat more difficult to get her riled up.
Fair enough.
Somewhat.
There are, however, other matters you could assist with if you are so eager to do so.
She'll say, if it is one of the duties of my clan to oversee the stability of the city, then, my lord, I may be arrogant of this to say, but partially, at least, that duty would fall on me as well.
There are, like yourself, many units within the city, but unlike other domains, we do not let them go unaccounted for. Reports of absent canines are taken into consideration on a regular basis, and there is one that has piqued my curiosity in particular. One that could use a more direct approach in its resolution. It follows a pattern of attempted kidnappings of canines within the area and other missing canines. A pattern that is rather unsettling. I would like for you to investigate.
She nods. And the next question she'll ask is, my lord, is there any specific locations of these attempted abductions? Or any names to go off of on this?
One of my aides will take you to the location in question. I will also be employing another to aid you in your assignment, as it were. Do you mind to roll me a quick intelligence politics?
You got it, fam. Give me just a moment. If Discord would load. That's me. That's not the site, I don't think. Although, let me try some. Hopefully it doesn't boot me from the call or something. But awesome. There goes 3 successes.
Why would the second most powerful member of the city's leading organization give a complete stranger such a delicate assignment?
All right, there we go.
Either he's looking to get you killed, or he's looking to groom / prop you up for some purpose, for some reason that he sees in you. For something that he sees in you. But you wouldn't really, that's all personal, you wouldn't know what that particular thing is, only that he would have to have a cause for him to do that, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
That's fair. Yeah, no, but yeah, especially a super young DNA getting sent on this. That's, even if she's Bruja and part of that treaty, that's a bit. Yeah, sums up there. She can't exactly say. Oh.
You seem hesitant.
She'll think and she'll say, "No, my lord, I'm sorry. I am just a bit excited." And it's been a while since I have applied any sort of more direct methods of persuasion.
Show me.
Oh, out of character, he said, "Show me."
Mm-hmm.
She kind of. She looks at say, "What would you like me to show you, my lord?"
The direct method of persuasion. Show me.
She kind of looks around. Are there any breakable objects in here?
There's a desk. You want to roll me perception and empathy?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. It is a straight fail, no botch.
You kind of feel like you're being toyed with a little bit.
That would definitely cause a. Could I try again at a higher diff?
Yeah, go ahead. +2 diff.
+2 diff. All right. Should I spend one of my precious willpower points for this?
Yep, you're gonna get one back a month.
I only get one back a month, but the month's going to be ending soon.
Sure. And
Also,
nature and demeanor always apply. If you can, if you work them in scene, you can get willpower back by those.
Yeah, and I think I'm definitely making a strong case for right now. Because she's systematically going through shit and being like, "What's up here?"
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Three this time.
He's obviously effectively telling you to directly challenge him. He wants to see the full extent of your capabilities, and he seems to be goading you into using on him. And he seems to be fairly open to the idea as well. He seems to be like confident, like he's saying, yeah. He's very relaxed. In fact, this is the most relaxed he's been since this entire discussion.
Oh shit. So it almost seems as if he's somewhat eager to do this.
You could say that.
What Monica will, I think I know how Monica will respond to this. What she'll do is she'll firstly say, if you would like, my lord, there is a space for me to act. I would not like to damage any of your valuables here. That would be in extremely poor form.
He seems amused.
Oh, what was he said?
He seems amused. He kind of just strokes his chin. As if when referring to valuables, you're referring to his face.
You know what? She kind of didn't mean it like that, but you know what?
Well, it's good to see.
She definitely. And she'll incline her head and say, we do still want to preserve many things, despite our volatile nature, my lord.
It is a noble goal to change oneself from within, to fight oneself. I have no doubt of your intentions. However, I would perhaps not make the presumption that you are capable of harming me or my valuables. This is perhaps the safest location for you to display your abilities above all others. He says this as if it's common sense, or a statement of fact. Almost as if he's been forced to patronize you, but isn't. Like it's like, do I have to say this? Like, this feels like insulting. Like, you know, he's talking down to you and he doesn't want to. Like, you know, it's like I'm kind of forced to be a dick.
She'll nod and say, all right then, my lord. She'll kind of slowly get up off her seat and neatly put the chair back, and she'll ask, what would you like to see first?
What you're always going to do, the strength of your persuasion. You'll actually just stand up and walk around the desk and kind of walks around and ends up walking. So he's actually quite close to her. He also seems to loom over her, even though he's not really that much bigger than her.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a sense that it's just kind of his natural kind of presence showing through his shadow kind of extends unnaturally over her.
Alrighty.
And does she do anything in response to this? Before he'll say
All right,
anything?
so he in essence, to put this into modern terms, he's squaring up to her.
Kind of. It's more like it's actually a little bit intimidating.
At this point,
It's not like he's raising up his arms to strike or anything. He's actually completely open in regards to like combat. Like he's not. He doesn't seem like he's expecting to be punched in the face, but I mean, he's implied that he has. So it's a bit this or that.
she's not going to just swing at him without a little more. I mean, it's fairly clear that he wants a demonstration, but she is not. She may be nervous about this, but she's definitely not going to be no bitch. If he's squaring up to her, then what she'll do is she's gonna pull her shoulders back, and she's gonna look right back at the seneschal.
Right. I need to roll 5d10 4 times.
Oh, sorry?
I need to roll 5d10 4 times. Okay.
Oh, shit. Alrighty.
Okay. You kind of bear back your shoulders, but as you kind of, roll your shoulders back, both get wrapped around by 2 black tendrils, which immediately pin you to the ground.
2 black tendrils? Okay.
The third one pins your legs, and he will just say, looking a bit disappointed as he looks over you, "How do you intend to capture your..." Sorry, what was... Oh, crap, I'm looking for the word. Capture your would-be criminal if you're not willing to seize the moment in the simplest of tasks. You're very hard to goad for a Rouger.
Monica obviously struggling, and she's going to say,
He'll just end up...
"We make it our mission to not be as easy targets as one would expect. If I can roll to get out, I'll certainly would try at least."
Roll strength roll. Oh no, he should re-roll. I shouldn't be rolling 5 dice. I should be rolling 6. Never mind. I'll be rolling 6 dice now.
So are you going to do the same thing again?
I only get to roll 3 dice this time because one of the tendrils just stands there. Okay, 1 botches. No, it doesn't botch, it just fails.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to get more than 4 successes.
Okay, so how many successes do I need?
4. No, you need 5. Because one of the tendrils got 4 successes. And they work in concert with another. They basically all roll on the same initiative.
Alrighty.
And they all make separate rolls. But their rolls don't count together. They're all separate.
Okay. So we're going to do the 4 successes first. I'll spend a blood point so my potents can I get those odd successes. Yeah. Only 3, unfortunately.
You really struggle, but this These tendrils keep you pinned down extremely hard. You're rattling against the floor. You're giving the entire room a good shake. But they just kind of end up wrapping further around you and just kind of almost like a snake constricting you. Just end up slowly paralyzing your movement and squeezing against you. And eventually it just becomes really important, just kind of near impossible to move because you just wind up completely bound entirely.
Well, I have another idea then. Is one wrapped around her neck?
No, you're being lifted back up to a standing position there. It doesn't hurt. He's not actually constricting you. He's just stopped you from moving.
In essence, this is more like he's teaching a lesson.
In essence, yeah. He doesn't seem to be out to directly harm you. If he wanted to do that, he would have done so already.
That's fair, yeah, completely. I ain't gonna lie, she does look pretty mad.
That's fine.
He's
trying to use discipline on you, the lols, so it's not exactly good manners.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, yeah. Basically, I'm just mean to illustrate. The undercurrent is no longer an undercurrent.
As things happen, you're drawn back up to a standing position, and tendrils release you and actually dissipate. And he looks at you as if he's a bit like a eureka moment, like a mini eureka moment. He kind of has his hands up, his hands splayed out, not like as in jazz hands, but as in pointedly, as in air. He looks quite satisfied or something, like he's happy about something, like he's excited about something. Maybe excited is the wrong word. He is, satisfied is perhaps the best word. He looks at you with an approving gaze and says, "This is the sort of individual I need. Now you are ready to seize the initiative. You must understand me. Your self-control is a strength, yes. But it paralyzed you to even the obvious. Do not take the opposite extreme because you are innately drawn to the other.
Her fists are clenched, and he does say, "I understand, my lord." And unless he's going to respond to her, I assume he's looking at her expectantly?
No, he will say, "I offer you a trivial boon in response to my poor manners."
She'll... Okay, that, like, I mean, the anger is kind of just now thrown off by what the fuck, and she just says, I humbly accept, my lord. Thank you.
There is a cost to everything we do. Besides, you are far more well-mannered than I was this evening. I pinned you to a floor and attacked you as if I was some sort of boa constrictor. He seems amused by the way he describes this.
Not wanting to make the seneschal think that she doesn't think that he's funny, will smile to this as well. Because it is sort of funny.
That's sort of funny, okay. Yes, normally I'm not so, well, direct and well-mannered. But I'd rather pay a price for ensuring a bright spark such as yourself is geared towards success rather than not.
She'll curtsy to him for the compliment and say, thank you, my lord. Genuinely.
Let me drop the formalities, it's quite alright. Considering I've already broken hospitality this evening, it was hardly necessary anymore.
Then she'll relax some, a bit more. As much as one can be considering Tenebration 3. But she will ask, so, my lord, what happens now?
Whatever you wish, you may leave at your leisure if it is, if you have other matters of import. Although, it has been quite a while since I've had a guest that has intrigued me as much as yourself. In the fact that you were the single honest individual to introduce yourself here within the past 2 years.
Well, my lord, the way I saw it, there was already a bit of suspicion regardless, so to simply come in with more lies would have just been bad for me and bad for my clan and possibly even bad for the domain, though I would not presume that my actions would have an effect on the domain as a whole.
Not yet, but I'm sure in time you will. He seems to reminisce about something funny. Well, I hope you'll make the most of your time here regardless. And do feel free to drop by the domain anytime.
Thank you, my lord.
Hmm.
It seems that upon the formality being kind of discarded, it seems that she's a lot more comfortable now.
This pleases him to an extent. Well, my age does predispose me towards meandering around the obvious. It is refreshing to have a frank conversation. Perhaps then, if I am to risk bringing a grimace to your face, I do apologize. If I'll ask why you go so far to acquire justice on behalf of the afflicted of this crime that you seek to correct. If you would, even those on the road of kings, more concerned with the nation and the world at large.
The victim of this crime, he was truly an instrument of change. And through his passing, I believe that there are many that lost out. And that to me is unacceptable.
An instrument of change. What is change to you, if I may ask? It is, like many things, much more nebulous than anyone would like to admit. So he asks.
You mentioned there was.
Pardon?
I heard that. There's a window in this room, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's a window in that. It's like embedded into the stone, into like a stone pattern. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like one you can open or anything.
But you can see out of it?
Yeah, you can see the town below. It's a brilliant view, actually.
Yeah, Monica will look out of that and she'll say, change is action. My lord. Change is choosing to buy something new. Change is standing your ground. Change is making that push forward. If our kind had not pushed forward, there are many in Spain and in many lands that would not have changed the way that they did.
That's a very interesting perspective. He doesn't say this like it's a negative, rather he finds it fascinating. He seems intrigued and very much enraptured with your ideas. I personally cannot say I am so optimistic. I personally have found that Canaanites have not changed since their inception. The same tricks, the same wars, the same groveling and pandering towards those that made them to begin with. A roaring shame.
You know what? Monica's gonna be bold. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the Sensual going to keep going?
No, he stops there.
Monica will just turn to him and just ask very plainly, is that something you would wish to change then?
He gives you like an interested look, like he seems interested in that you asked him a question, and says, "Well, perhaps, but it is largely outside my control. I am a part of the same cycle. Contrary to popular belief, I find it much easier to change a system from without than within. Which leaves me at a strange impasse as to my own methods." And he seems to bobble his head while examining this dichotomy he has for himself. Although it's almost like he's not really thinking about it all that much. Like, this is clearly something he's given thought in the past. So he's really just kind of giving me, yeah, I've considered this. Well, it's like, he's not really giving it much thought, even though he looks like he is. He's not really hiding that.
That's fair. Though Monica will say, as to whether I'm unsure if anyone has the capability of doing something like that, though I believe if my embrace has taught me anything, it was that anything is possible, given the will of those who either submit to Allah or give their lives to Christ.
God has enough followers. I don't really feel any need to add fuel to that fire, considering the Bitter Crusade. You would understand a Bitter Crusade is the term for the Fourth Crusade. You do understand it to be a pretty tragic event in Canaanite history. A lot of Canaanites died during the Bitter Crusade.
Damn, alrighty.
It also resulted in the direct death of the Dream. Which to many Canaanites in this area is a big deal.
Is this Chris telling me this?
Yeah, I see you know this. Like, the Dream was the sect of Michael, rumored to be a child of an antediluvian.
And we don't know which one?
Like, he was a Toreador.
Okay, so that makes it pretty fucking obvious.
It's a rumor. They don't know if he was the child of the antediluvian or not. Just that it was claimed, and that he was extremely powerful, and that he built an empire out of Constantinople for over 1,000 years.
And then that shit fell.
It fell less than a year ago.
Oh.
It is.
Oh.
It is recent. The wounds are fresh.
Oh shit. Monica may have accidentally traveled through that shit. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, Constantinople is a La Sombra domain now, but it's just so devoid of what it once was. You could literally feel the remnants of passion in that place. Like dead emotion just hanging in the air. Because that's the raw power that doesn't just go away. It doesn't die with a body. It's strange. I think many elders, if they were to hear this, or many Canites in particular, would find your desire of change to be awfully dangerous. You kind of expect a response to this.
She'll look down and think, and she'll say, all change is a little scary. It is frightening. Even I find the idea to be quite frightening sometimes. Sometimes it starts to become impossible to avoid. Similar to a Brujas frenzy. Amongst our clan, we do not say if we are to frenzy. We generally treat it as if it is a unavoidable instance. It will happen. And even after it happens, it will happen again.
People fear change because it is an outcome that they cannot truly control, and as such they are paying for a cost that they may not benefit from, with considerable risk to themselves. And yet it is amazing how much a merchant might gamble his money away.
Yes, in the hopes that they come across something great or new, even.
Heaven forbid an individual opinion not burdened by psychophancy. I appreciate this conversation, Monica. Last one to arrive here was an ancillary who insisted on mistruths at every turn, even when they were caught.
Oh, out of character, I didn't catch that one. What was that? Last person that came was an Ancilla that
insisted on mistruths until I forced the truth from them.
Monica simply inclines her head again and says, another reason why I came forward with the truth. I was not about to... You are seneschal of this domain for a reason. And trying to obscure the truth would have been a fool's errand, at best.
You speak of this as if it were common sense. If only more shared the perspective. Perhaps a cruel thing to say, but no less true. I do not wish to bother you further, but might I insist on your company for the rest of this evening?
I am more than all right with that, my lord.
Delightful. I can always respect. But I can always respect an individual. Most others are simply pawns or players looking to make pawns of others. It grows tiring after a while.
I can definitely see why that would not appeal. It is. That is a very brutal life to live.
It is the pillar of our society. He smiles at you as if kind of tasting the sort of, as if he's kind of licking the barb that he just kind of threw out.
Yeah, she kind of smiles back and she does say, "That is true. That is true."
Alas, it still has its purpose. I suppose if there is any advice I am to give, it would be to engage in it, but not to become trapped by it. This
I will.
prince has made the wise decision of delegating that curse to others.
I will heed your words in the coming nights, then.
Might we go for a walk? I know the most fantastic tailor around here.
All I heard was there's a fantastic tailor around here.
He says, "Might we go for a walk? I know there is. I know there is the most fantastic. I know the most fantastic tailor around here."
Monica just nods and says, "That sounds good to me, my lord."
If I cannot pay the boon, then at least the dress, because there is like him grappling you with tendrils probably did muck up your dress a bit.
Yeah, they kind of fuck it up. Although I do have to get going soon.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I was going to end the scene here.
Okay, awesome.
As everything goes perfectly, yay! Side eye.
Mm,
And yeah, as the seneschal most graciously buys this neonate a new dress, we shall end this scene now. My eyes are as narrow as slits.